So this week we also had a very surprise Smash update. Now, they've never actually done, from my recollection, they've got like 1.0.0. They've always done updates like 1.1, 1.2, or like 2.1 if it's like a new character or like a huge change. This is the first time I've seen it where they've actually done patch 9.0.1. So as soon as we heard that, it was like, okay, it must be a lot of the glitches that are happening with Steve. And fundamentally it was, but do you want to cover the one correction? Like, I guess correction? Like you could call it like that?
Yes.
Editorial?
So Steve, and I assume it's all of them, but let's just say Steve, because you can play as different skins, like Alex, Enderman, Zombie. But basically, Steve's victory animation has him eating like a piece of steak. That's straight out of Minecraft, the sound effects. But afterwards, he would then just like put his hand down, and the steak would still be there. And unfortunately,
Which is exactly the way it works in Minecraft.
if you've got more in the stack, yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you,
So
yeah.
all I'm saying is the animation isn't like Sakurai doing something different. Like it's literally almost copied the game exactly.
It's very, very accurate. But unfortunately, because of the angle that Steve is on and the fact that it cuts it off around his midsection, the meat looked very phallic. Very, very phallic. And honestly, I never noticed it, but then also never really saw many Steve victory screens either.
Look at the humble brag there. I love the humble brag. Didn't really see many Steve victory animations. Normally Bile.
No, not really. And like, man, when you see the photos of this thing, it's bad. It's so bad. And I just love that whole story about Kotaku interviewing Phil Spencer.
Yeah.
And saying, "Oh, have you seen Steve's victory screen?" And showing him an image in like the Zoom chat or whatever they're doing it, and he's like, "Who did that?" As in, I think like assuming it was almost like a Photoshop, and he said, "No, it's a screenshot of the game." And I would have loved to know the tone of this if it was like he was laughing about it or not, but basically saying, "I assume that will be fixed." And that interview actually happened in the week prior to the patch coming out, which was essentially this week. So I wonder. Obviously the internet itself kind of blew up a bit about it. Not blew up, but there was a bit of a thing about it. I wonder if Phil Spencer also seeing it just made that 100% certainty that got removed. So no longer.
I reckon it's like an 80% chance. It was because of that.
So what happens now is Steve still eats the meat, apparently. I haven't seen it since the post-patch, but I think the video I've seen, and the meat just disappears. So they patched out Steve's meat. This is one of the best patch things ever. I love it. I know that I shared a screenshot to one of our friends, and it's like, oh, best patch ever. And he's like, oh, I don't get it. And then then it clicked with him. It's like, oh, okay.
But even with that, I don't think it's that bad. Like,
it's pretty bad. Like when you notice it, I think you don't see it straight away.
I don't know. I never really thought it was a big deal. Like, I can see what everyone's saying, but I'm like, it's like meat. Like, come on, get your mind out of the gutter. But at the same time, it's Nintendo. Like, I obviously understand why they've removed it. And I do think it's like 80% chance it's Phil Spencer's reaction. He probably flicked a note to one of his lieutenants in charge of IP and managing that. Hey, get on this. This is not right.
This is like that, was it Lion King, the word sex in the clouds kind of thing. Just one of those unfortunate things that happens,
But you know what
what is that?
Right?
Mario, it was like Mario Galaxy, isn't it? Like, you are Mr. Gay or something like that.
How about Mario 64? So long, Gay Bowser.
Yeah, but that "you are Mr. Gay" thing is just so freaky. Like, do you know what that was?
No, can I just address the Lion King thing first?
Okay.
Now, I might be wrong. So, the problem with the internet is it's so easy to check these things if you're wrong or right. My understanding of that before checking it is that it was actually meant to spell out SFX, like special effects. But the F looks like an E. That's my understanding.
Okay.
I'll check that. But what's the Galaxy one? I hadn't heard of that.
So, if you... basically, Mario Galaxy's logo has let me just bring it up. So it has like stars on it, like little twinkling stars. Sorry, I'm just typing as I'm saying this, and every single star lines up with the letters that spell out "You are Mr. Gay."
What?
Yeah, I'm just finding an image of it. Yeah, so it's I found something. Here we go.
Oh, and I've
Just
just checked on
posted.
Snopes, which I do trust for fact checking. It was confirmed by one of the animators that they were trying to spell out SFX as a
Oh, there
joke
you go.
to the
There you
special
go.
effects team. But it is very unfortunate because if you look at
Yeah.
it, I can totally see people seeing the SEX.
So I've just linked you a photo so you can see each letter that has that twinkle on it just happens to spell "You are Mr.
Shit.
Gay."
I've never seen this before. This is
Oh, really?
awesome. This is so cool. That's so funny. It takes a special mind to be able to pick up on these things. Uh,
Oh,
and just saying with the patch, just going back to the patch quickly. So it's actually not fixed a lot of the problems, and there's like new problems it's introduced. This Steve character has caused so many glitches in the game. Like just watching all the pro players talk about it and finding more glitches. Like there's characters that now can't even jump up to platforms they used to be able to jump up to. It's like it's really crazy what's happened to the game because of this character. Who, by the way, I love. I don't know why people hate this character. It's bizarre to me. It's like,
I,
you're kidding me.
I,
This is one of the
I,
best characters they've introduced.
I like the character, but I hate fighting against him. I don't know why. It's
Yeah.
just something about the character just is so inherently trolly, even without the moves. Just
Yes.
it will like run away, it'll knock you away, and it'll start mining, and you're like, "Oh, you bastard!" You just like get pissed off at everything they do, and I don't know why. And it almost feels like you're playing against the CPU all the time, but you're not. You know, you obviously can, but like I'm not. I'm playing against actual people, and I'm like, I don't know why I hate fighting Steve so much. Anyway,
Yeah, so like I've been tempted to try to start learning how to play as Steve because
no, please
what I do
don't.
like about Steve is that it's so gimmicky. Like everything's such a gimmick. It's just so like trolly. Just like all the moves like, have got like some kind of weird troll element to them. Um, but it's just like to me, one thing about Steve, it's just so much work. You know, it's like very hard to get your head around everything you're meant to do. So, and the recovery is actually crazy. I don't know if they're going to patch it out, but using the mine carts and everything, you can recover from pretty much anywhere on like off stage.
Hmm.
So, and just the last thing, you know, the whole Phil Spencer thing,
Yeah,
Sweeney. Yeah,
yeah.
just saying that he's actually been in
I didn't know
so
that you were
many.
expecting a response on that
Oh,
one.
I didn't know if you were there for a second. I thought he might have like died on your end. That he's been in so many interviews recently, and I really wanted to cover one interview with my favorite website, or one of my favorite websites, Stratechery. So they're, you know, obviously it's like a business thing, but this guy Ben, he covers strategy as it pertains to technology. So he takes a very business analysis view, but it's in tech. And he interviewed Phil Spencer this week. But the only reason why I don't think we should cover it is just because it's paywalled, the interview. But in that interview, Phil Spencer covered that they're talking about having like a dongle for xCloud, which I think is such a cool idea. Like you can imagine just like Xbox dongle or something. And, you know, for that to like just be out there and, you know, you could just plug it in and effectively be playing the AAA games. I think that'd be pretty amazing.
Yeah, and he also said that they may in the future look at potentially like another higher tier of Game Pass as well.
Yeah, Platinum.
Yeah, so
And I was
I
so
mean,
close to getting Game Pass the other day. And then it put me off it, this whole Platinum thing.
it a leaf could fall from a tree and would put you off Game Pass. Like
Look,
that's how.
ultimately, you know, like it's like the Fire Emblem thing. I like to have the game. I like to have quote unquote ownership of the game. So it just bothers me. I don't know. Just, you know, I was looking at it. I'm like, oh, Dead Cells on it. Okay, I really, really want to play Dead Cells. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, but then it could just go off it. It could be like, hey, next month Dead Cells is going. It's like, oh, now it's like I feel like I'm forced to play it. It's like, ugh, I don't like that.
Hey, you're the one that said, "Hey, limited time things are fine," you know.
True, but that's different. I could buy it in that
No,
period of
I
time.
know, I know.
Well, actually,
All
just
I know is that there's a lot of games I would have bought
that's
otherwise
true.
that I've played on there.
And
So
I think it's perfect for you. I think it's absolutely perfect for you. And getting into physical versions of games.